Okay, you guys may have noticed some of these characteristic mounds like this one right here. And this is, of course, a fire ant mound. And fire ants are an invasive species that are actually quite common in the southeast now. Probably came in out of Mobile, Alabama originally, and that have just moved steadily across the southeast. Now these mounds are, as you can imagine, just full of ants. Let me see if I can find a little stick here. And of course, I'm gonna poke a hole in the fire ant mound. But these mounds, before I do that, these mounds are really interesting because they allow the ants to get warm when they need to in the winter. And then also when it gets really hot, like in the summer, they can go down in the ground. But on a cool day like today, they can thermoregulate and warm their bodies up. I'm gonna poke right here. There's typically, well, I don't see any ants coming out yet. Maybe this is they may be down a little bit further. Here we go. They're starting to come out. So these animals communicate with pheromonal signals. So obviously, if one of the ants thinks that something terrible is happening to the mound, they give off chemical signals, and then of course all the ants go crazy. You know, the soldiers come out to protect the mound, and before long you're covered with fire ants. Now, the scientific name of this animal is Solenopsis invicta, which just sounds dangerous, doesn't it? And it's the imported fire ant. And the sting is really quite impressive. I mean, they can both bite and sting. And for most people, it leaves kind of a welt, almost like a little pimple, and it really hurts. And sometimes, you know, you're stung 10, 20 times before you realize what's happened. Not much we can do about fire ants. They're part of the landscape here on Spring Island. You can control them, but we really want to resist the urge to use all kinds of chemicals, because a lot of those chemicals are going to end up going other places, and maybe eventually in the marsh where they'll do damage to all kinds of marine creatures. So I think the best bet is just to try and live with them, but don't mess with them too much like I am, because you're bound to get stung if you do.